What is the best fishing rod and reel out there today? Well, my real answer to that question is anything that you catch fish on. I don't care if it's a $10 fishing rod and reel or a $1,000 rod and reel. If you're catching fish, that's all that matters, right? So, on this video, I want to go over you guys things that I've used through the years, my personal opinion about what I like to use, experiences I've had with other brands, and what I'm currently using and probably going to be sticking with for a very long time. Let's get into the video. So when I first started fishing, when I was like 5, 6, 7, somewhere around there, I don't know what I was using, but when I got into fishing super serious around 10, I think I would just buy some used stuff around locally where I used to live in New Jersey. But then a local tackle shop opened up, and when I was like 16, 17, and I was actually working on, like after school, I was making some good money. I started with Daiwa, because that's what he carried, and I would actually spend the money on, like this is the, I forgot what this thing's called. This is the Daiwa, the Team Daiwa rod, which I've actually done like a little short on this, I think about. This rod is over 30 years old, but this was like $150 back in like 1995. So it's still around. I love it. It was like for a spinner bait because you can see the short handle. And I used to throw it on with a Daiwa old school millionaire round bait caster. Now, you know that bait caster back then was $200. So it would probably be equivalent to a $500, $600 reel today. And that's when I really got into serious fishing. Then after about 20 years, I switched to Shimano. And I had Shimano Curados with matching Shimano rods. I had the Curado DCs. I rocked those till not too long ago. And so it was mostly Daiwa and Shimano as I grew up until my being an adult. I think I finally changed from Shimano maybe a little over 3 years now, maybe about 3 years, almost when I started YouTube. I think I started YouTube about a little over 3.5 years ago, actually posting on YouTube. I think I made the change, my reels and rods, I think in about, yeah, maybe like 2.5 years ago I changed. And the reason for me changing is, you know, Daiwa and Shimano are the biggest names really out there in fishing reels and rods for the most part. I mean, you got Penn and you got a whole bunch of brands, right? But they're mainstream. And as I got older, I wanted to start utilizing people that are new coming out, new technology or better quality, and people who actually appreciate you buying their gear, recognize you, let's say on social media, and appreciate you for who you are, for buying their gear. You really don't get that from Shimano and Daiwa, and you know, the mom and pop brands that make fishing rods, you know, handmade rods and stuff, they appreciate the support. So as I've gotten older now, I want to use companies that are new, small, or just starting out instead of supporting the big name brands, right? In between of all the Daiwa and Shimano, when I started social media, you know, KastKing reached out to me. They sent me a couple reels to try out and do a video on for free. They sent me the Royal Legend, I think it's the Royal Legend Pro, right? It's been so long since I've used it. You know, the bait caster, it's purple. It's got a really high speed reel. I like using this for top water baits. It works, guys. You know, for the price point of these reels, they work. They also sent me the Royal Legend. So I got the Royal Legend and the Royal Legend Pro sent to from KastKing to me to do a video on and do testing. So I said, sure, you guys can send them to me and I'll do some testing on them. Then I actually personally purchased the Mega Jaws spinning reel because it's more towards saltwater. I have also purchased the Mega Jaws Elite bait casting reels. I also have purchased the Royal Legend Pro spinning reel. And I also purchased the Mega Jaws Elite spinning reel, which you do not see here in front of me. And the reason why is that I used the Mega Jaws Elite spinning reel, right? The Mega Jaws Elite spinning reel for about a week straight in saltwater. It didn't last. It didn't make it. It seized up on me, so I basically just threw it away. You know, I take very good care of my reels. When I'm done with saltwater, I rinse them off. Now, I know the Mega Jaws Elite spinning reel is not really made for saltwater. KastKing does make saltwater specific reels, and this Mega Jaws is kind of, you know, to that extent. But I wanted to use the Mega Jaws Elite because it was a nice spinning reel. It just didn't make it through saltwater, even with me cleaning it every day and putting some lube on it. It is what it is. It's not completely sealed, so water got on it, and it just ruined it. So I wanted to try the KastKing brand as a budget-friendly try, basically, to see how this gear is. Now, the Mega Jaws Elite bait casting reels, they're about 130 bucks. They're pretty damn good, guys. I use these in saltwater and freshwater and no problem. But you can see I also bought their rod, and this is the KastKing Speed Demon. And I bought 2 of these rods, and you can see the handles on them are just deteriorating. So it's good for my son to use right now. It's still a nice feeling rod, but they're just not holding up the way I want them to. The reels will work. If you ruin a reel, like I've said in the past videos with KastKing, it's not a big deal because they're not super expensive. You can just throw them out. You know, these reels, like this reel here, the Royal Legend is like 50 bucks. I think the Pro is like 80 or 90. This is like 70, 80 bucks. These are like 130. So they're not too bad. They work. I would just say any of these reels that they make that are not designed for saltwater, don't use them in saltwater because I feel they're not going to hold up. I gave them a try. I still own them. I still use them, but it's not really my favorite. Then let's get into rods a little bit before I get into everything else. So being that I was trying to support smaller places, local to me, I purchased a crap ton of the Cashion Element series rods. Now I think they have a version 2 of these, and they are like 120 bucks, 130 bucks. I've had these now for, shoot, probably 4 years, and they are working great. I still have them all. I'm just not using them because of personal reasons why I stopped purchasing Cashion rods. I will still use them, but I don't personally use them on a day-to-day basis. They're more for my son to use. They're still working great rods. You're more than happy to buy them. You know, don't take my word for it or my opinion. They're great for the price. They have some higher-end rods that are super great too. They're made here in North Carolina, but I will not support them myself anymore, but they are great rods. That's my personal opinion, guys. So for the price, I like Cashion rods. I would have continued using them, but something turned me off about them. So I'm personally stopped using them, but don't, like I said, take my word for it. If you like them, keep promoting them, keep using them. That's your choice. That's your right to do whatever you guys want. This video is about what I personally have been through the years and why I've changed from Shimano, Daiwa, and Cashion. So what am I currently using now on a day-to-day basis? And I have used in the past in between KastKing. Well, when Bates Fishing Co. came out with their reels, for what they are, the price point anywhere from $3 to $4.25, and they're going to be coming out with some other reels that are a little bit more like their spinning reel they're coming out with. Finally, they're coming out with a spinning reel, but they are also coming out with the EDC Baitcaster, which is the everyday carry. It's going to be a digital cast control. It's going to be $200 price point range for you guys to get into their brand. But I personally use the Hundo 100s for my baitcasters. These things are super comfortable in my hand. I've done a couple videos on them. I also own 2 GOAT 150s, which are a bigger 150 size reel, good for bigger swim baits, heavier jigs. That's what I use those for, or heavier chatter baits. But I use the Hundo 100s all the time. These are a $375 price point. I just can't get over how comfortable they are. I love them. Their durability, being that they're all CNC'd, they're designed here, cut here. Some parts are from overseas, but I think they're bringing most of their manufacturing now into the United States, which they've been trying to do that, which that's pretty cool. I can't get over how great they are, guys. I mean, that's just my personal opinion. Yes, they are pricey, but they are worth every penny. I've had a few issues because I had when they were first brand new, but they took care of them. They either fixed it or they sent me a brand new one. So the warranty on these things are great. They've, got over the issues that they had at the beginning, which were very small, minute issues, and now there's no problems. The reels I have, I still think are like almost like the first gen, and they're still working just fine. But these are reels I'm going to be able to pass down to my son. They also have the Hundo, the Salty Hundo. As I need to add more reels to my arsenal from baits, I will probably get the Salty Hundos just because they're more designed for saltwater. Even though I use these in saltwater all the time and clean them off, the Salty Hundos have ceramic bearings and more designed for the saltwater use. But most people have these because that's what they had and that's what they purchased. And we all use them in saltwater and don't have a problem. Freshwater, don't even have to worry about it. Don't have to clean them. Until Baits comes out with their spinning reel, I'm currently using for my spinning reel Florida Fishing Products Osprey CE Pro. It's their most expensive reel they have for a spinning reel. The price point on this one is the 2500 size. I think is like $230. Now these are comparable to a lot of the Shimano reels and the Daiwa reels. But once again, they're a smaller company. I want to support a smaller company, a company that appreciates my business. You know, my Shimano and Daiwa reels, I never used in saltwater. They were always in freshwater. I never had a problem with any of them, guys. It's just I wanted to change as I gotten older here and choose a different brand and smaller brands and support the people who appreciate your support. That's the reason why I changed, guys. I'm glad I changed the baits as my primary reels. I cannot get over how comfortable they are in my hands, how much I appreciate the comfort for all day casting. That's what I'll be using until they are out of business and I can't, they all break on me and I have no other choice but to go to another brand. So as far as rods, being I changed from Cashin, even though they're an American-made company and I like to support America, I changed the TFO rods, Temple Fork Outfitters. Now their higher end reels, or their higher end rods, are made here in the USA. But I can't spend $300-400 on a rod just because I'm on a kayak and I'm always scared that I'm going to break one of them. So at least I get, a price point of a rod that still has good action, good feel, and that no more than $200 is I don't like to spend. So right now I'm using the TFO Professional Series rods. I'm using these for saltwater and freshwater. I also have the TFO spinning rod here. And this one is, I forget now, is the Tactical Inshore. I think the price on this one was like $170. And these are like, the Professional Series are about $120. But my main thing is I love cork handles. That's the only kind of handles I like. I don't like the carbon fiber handles. I don't like any other handles that are out there besides cork. That's what I grew up with. That's what I like. I will never change from cork handles. I also purchased a Bull Bay fishing rod. And once again, they're a smaller company. They're here out of Florida too. It's all USA. I like the Bull Bay rods too as well. And this is the Banshee series. These handles are a combination cork and a soft feel. Very comfortable. This Banshee rod is a 6'8". It's more for my topwater baits, and it's got a fast action. I just like it. It's lightweight, and it's a cool rod too. So between Temple Fork Outfitters, Bull Bay rods, and baits, and Florida Fishing Products, that's what I'm currently using and going to be sticking with for a very, very long time. Not saying that the KastKing rods and reels, even though I had a problem with one in salt, and the one spinning rod here, the handle deteriorating. Not saying that, KastKing, Shimano, and Daiwa are all bad reels or rods, but I rather support the smaller companies. You guys use what you want to use, but I just want to go over a quick video here telling you what I'm using, what I'm going to be sticking with, and why. I like the price point of the TFO. I also like the price point of the Cashin rods, but once again, personal issue keeps me away from supporting Cashin at this time. So that's where we're at, guys. You guys use what you use to catch fish on. You use what you can afford. Don't use what you see on YouTube just because somebody else is using it. You use what you want to use, what you like, what you can get locally, or what you can purchase online to go catch your fish and have fun. That's what it's all about. I just wanted to cover what I use. I love my baits reels. I love these TFO rods and the Bull Bay rods, and the Florida Fishing spinning reel is super smooth. It's comparable to all the high-end Shimanos, and I think that's pretty cool, guys. So that's it. If you guys have any comments or questions, drop them in the comments. As always, be safe on the water. I'll catch you in the water or see you here from Rice Acres. See you guys soon. Thanks for stopping by.